Hi, I'm Yura Jayavardhana, working as Assistant Professor in Essential Department. I'm going to handle HTTP server Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So here, this Hypertext Transfer Protocol is a protocol used mainly to access the data on the World Wide Web. It is a combination of, it functions as a combination of FTP, that is File Transfer Protocol, and SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It uses the services of TCP on well-known port 80. So it consists of request message and the request line. We are going to see what is each and everything in the next slide. So before that, let me explain what is the difference between the HTTP client and HTTP server. HTTP client is a program that establishes a connection to the server to send one or more HTTP request messages. So then what is the HTTP server? It is a program that accepts the connection to serve HTTP requests by sending an HTTP response messages. So here in this diagram, we are seeing two things, two messages. One is request message and another one is the response message. This request message, it consists of request line, headers, blank line and the body. So what is the basic difference between the request message and the response messages? The first thing, that is the request line, it corresponds to the client, and there is a response message, that is the status line, it corresponds to the server. So this is the basic difference, and in this HTTP transaction, we are going to see about the format of request message and the response message. So first thing is the request line. There is a, what's the format of this request line? So HTTP transaction, this request messages and the response messages, this request line, it consists of method, URL and version. So in between each and everything, that is method and the URL, there is a legend called SP, that is a space. So between method and URL, we have to leave some space, and between the URL and the version, we have to leave one space. So that is the request line and the response line. This is going to be called as an initial request line. And what is this initial request line? The initial line is different for the request and the response message. So here in this thing, the first thing is called the request line, that is from the client, and for the server, it is going to be called as a status line. We'll see next. So the initial line is different for the request and the response. The request line consists of three parts. One is, I have told you, method name, and then URL, that is uniform resource locator, that means requested resource local path, and next one is the version, that is HTTP version being used. So all these parts are separated by the spaces. So here in this initial response line, it is known as the status line. It has also three parts. The first thing is the version, and then status quo, and next one is the phrase. So what is this? The HTTP version, that is 1.1, and the response status code like 404, 504, then 304, like that. The response status code will be given, that gives the result of the request, and the English reason phrase. So that is the phrase that is being given. The phrase is nothing but the English reason phrase. So what is the use of this English reason phrases? It will describe the status code. So this is the basic difference between the request message and the response message. And next one is the conditional request. Conditional request means it request based on condition is possible. If condition is met, server sends it, else client is informed about it, why it is not being sent with the help of that phrase. So example conditions, here I have given an example, time and date, the web page is modified. So what for this example, so how will be the request and the response messages? The request will be of get, next HTTP colon, before that we have seen, this is the request line. The first thing we have to give the method and URL, and third one is version. The same thing, so method is the get, HTTP colon www.commonserver.com. So that is the path, that is the URL, uniform resource locator, where the file is being present, and then near that URL we have to give the version, that is HTTP/1.1. And what will be the response? The first line in the response is the status line. HTTP, that is the version, near this version we have seen the status code. So status code is 304 and not modified. Not modified is a phrase. That means English recent phrase. The build tells about what is 304. That's it. So we have seen about the HTTP and what are the messages that come under HTTP request and the response messages. Thank you.